Welcome to Get Ripped Collectibles.
Gator Dave, how you doing, sir?
I am well, Mike. I'm well. People freaking out. We've jumped on early, like 2 days early, but we're ready to go. It's the holiday edition of the Pick'em Show, right? So had to get it done early. So we thought about just taping, but we said, "What the heck? Let's go live. See who jumps on." And we got Public House, we got Evelyn, we got Navorsky. Shoot.
Vorsky.
We are killing it. Yeah, Navorsky's already talking about the dogs, man.
Navorsky Dave. Put some respect on his name, man.
Navorsky. So we picked the dogs. Gator Dave picked the dogs, and he was right last week. So, and Mama was right. Son Ian was all happy. So those dogs won last week. So all right, let's get rolling here, Mike. So we are in week 13. It's the last week of the official season, unfortunately, coming to an end. You know, we roll into those conference games, finals next couple of weeks. Then we go to bowl season. Then we go to national championship. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. But we're going to be here. We're not done. We're not done. We're not sealing it up at 13. We're going to keep this thing rolling. So last week, Gator Dave got taken down a couple of notches by Miami Mike. It is now only one game. Miami Mike finished 7-5 last week. Pretty damn good, Mike. Pretty good. Very good. And I was only 5-7. Couldn't even make the 500 mark. So it's only one game. We'll see what happens after week 13 here. So it's all good. So shall we roll into the first game, Mike?
Yeah, let's do it. Let me get that recap down there for you.
All right, get that recap up there. So
real quick.
Yes,
Everybody that's watching, please like, subscribe, comment below. Really helps us out. Thank you to everybody who jumps in the chat. Means a lot. Like Gator Dave said, we are a little live early this week. We're on live Monday night instead of Wednesday. So these lines have moved a lot though, just within the last 24 hours. It's nuts.
I mean,
it's like everybody's on the same
mindset.
Last
hours, you know. I mean, you know, I was just looking at it a few hours ago, and things have moved a little bit. So jump on them if you like them, right? That's where we want to go. So, Mama says go dogs. My beautiful wife Nirvana says go dogs, and there she goes. All right. Love you, honey. All right. So first game, Mike, we're going to your favorite kind of end of the spectrum, and we're going to do the Naval Academy against SMU. SMU favored by 20.5 points, the over-under at 45. So Navy comes into the game at 4-5, 4-4-1 against the spread. SMU at 8-2. Still one of those teams that has a chance to be the number one in the group of five. So they're going to be fighting, right? They're 6-4 against the spread. Navy's they won 3 of the last 5 games. They beat East Carolina. That's my mama's school. They beat UAB and they beat Sharp. Now they have only averaged 14 points a game in the last 5, just so you know, Mike, when you look at the numbers.
That's Navy that you're talking about?
What now?
That's Navy that you're talking about with those numbers?
Navy. That is correct. Navy. Yep. So their offense ranked 119, defense 23rd, strength of schedule at 116. SMU offense is ranked 6th, defense 15th, but strength of schedule 110. SMU winners of their last 5 games, Mike, they're averaging over 45 points per game. There's no reason to think that they won't continue scoring those points as we move along here in this game. They both played Memphis, okay? So So that's that game I'm gauging, right? Navy lost 28-24. SMU won 38-34. So my theory is, if we take kind of those two and push them together, I'm going to go on the lower end and say this game's going to be more like that the Memphis Navy game at that 28-24. That gives us a total of 52. So on the conservative end of things, I'm going to go the over in this game, Mike, over 45 points. Just kind of gauging where these teams are. Navy's defense is pretty damn good. It's not like they're going to score a ton of points. I don't think they're going to score 40, but I think they got a chance. SMU is scoring 28. So give me that over, Mike, 45. What say you?
I actually like that over pick a lot. As you were going, I was thinking about if I need to change mine or not. But I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to stick to my guns here, Dave. SMU minus 20.5. I think they get it done. I just don't think Navy's going to find too much success other than maybe running the football a little bit. I think SMU's offense is just going to be too much for Navy. So I do like that over, though. I like that play a lot, actually.
Yeah, Mike, I'll be honest with you. I think we both take home this one as a winner because I think SMU is going to take care of business in this game. So I think we're both safe here.
I'll be all right with that.
Yep. Let's move on to the next game. We're gonna be in the Big 12 here. So we're going West Virginia, who is at minus 8.5 at the mighty Baylor Bears. West Virginia is 6-4 to a surprise of most, 6-4 against the spread. Baylor, to the surprise of most, is 3-7 and only 2-7-1 against the spread. West Virginia has won 3 of their last 5 games. They beat Cincy, they beat BYU, and beat UCF. Of course, those are the lower tier games. Losses, Oklahoma, tough loss, against a tough Oklahoma team. Baylor's lost their last 4 games, Mike. Their last win was 5 weeks ago against Cincinnati, and it was only by 3. And we both know Cincinnati's not a good team. West Virginia, 39th on offense, 76th on defense, 18th in strength of schedule. Baylor, however, Mike, I need you to listen to this one. Baylor is tearing it up, dude.
That's why I was adjusting.
They are 100th on offense, 114th on defense, with a strength of schedule at 11. And they're sucking, buddy. Baylor's not a good team this year, and I predict by Sunday, no later than Monday, we'll be hearing the Dave Aranda is gone at Baylor. Yep. West Virginia's playing well in comparison to Baylor. Surprised a lot of folks. I'm proud of that team. Give me the Mountaineers to cover the 8.5 in this one, Mike. What say you?
I like that pick, but I'm actually on the over here. I think Baylor has had a tough year. It's not like they lost a major amount of talent, though. So senior day there, I think they put some together for Dave Aranda and at least compete in this one. So I'm going to take the over 55. Both of these defenses are terrible. Both of their offenses are pretty decent, ranking in the top 100, top 50 for West Virginia. Baylor, I think, is like top 60, top 65. So, yeah, give me the over here. I think there's going to be some points in this game.
That might be a good pick there, Mike. I kind of like that one. All right, let's go to your ACC, Mike. This one you threw at me. Oh, I toyed over all day long. So we got Virginia Tech -3 at Virginia. The over-under at 51. So Va Tech is 5-5, 6-4 against the spread. Virginia 2-8, 7-2 against the spread. Rather interesting. Tech's won the last 3 of 5 games, but they played those lower-end ACC teams. They lost to NC State, which we know has a tough defense. They lost to Louisville. Those were their 2 losses in the last 5 games. Virginia has beaten USC 5 weeks ago, and they also beat Duke on Saturday. But we know Duke is quite depleted at the moment. Virginia Tech comes in 70th on offense, 58th on defense, 59th strength of schedule. Virginia's 88 on offense, 108 on defense, not too good, with a 7th strength of schedule. In the last week's Tech's Chiron Drones, quarterback there, 17 of 30 last week, 225 yards, 3 TDs, not too bad. He was also the rushing leader at 51 yards. Last week, Virginia beat Duke by 3. Calandria, their quarterback, had 3 DDs, 21 of 30, 278. Not too bad. Virginia Tech's trying to get to a bowl game. One of the most improved teams in the latter part of the season, so they're kind of on that roll. I think they're going to be hungry to try to get that win, to get to that bowl game. But as I look at the numbers, Mike, the last few games, both of these teams in the last 5 games or so have been over 55 points. So, Mike, I'm going to take the over 51 in this particular game, and we'll see where it goes. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's probably a pretty good pick. I think this one's going to be better than most people think. Virginia has sort of turned the corner this year after starting so terribly. They've put a couple wins together towards the back half of the season. Not going to be enough here against this Virginia Tech team. I think Virginia Tech's going to own them. I think Virginia Tech's got the potential to put up 30 pretty easily on this Virginia squad. Virginia should be able to find at least some success, but I think Virginia Tech handles them pretty well. I got Virginia Tech winning this one outright with the money line.
Good call. Good call. With you there. All right, let's go back to the Pac-12. We're going to do Kansas -6 at Cincinnati. Kansas is 7-3. They're only 5-5 against the spread. Cincinnati's 3-7, 4-6 against the spread. Kansas has lost 3 of their last 5 games. They've lost to K-State. They've lost to Texas Tech, and Oklahoma State. Actually, K-State and Oklahoma State, 2 of the better teams, obviously in the Big 12 right now. It looks like Oklahoma State's probably going to play Texas for the Big 12 championship. Cincinnati, however, is only 1-5, Mike, in the last 5 games, and their big win was against Houston. Losses to West Virginia, UCF, Oklahoma State, and Mike, Cincinnati lost to Baylor. So they have not fared well in the last 5 games. So Kansas is 35th on offense in the nation, 70th on defense. Their strength of schedule is 8th, which isn't too bad. So that they're a substantial team out there. Cincinnati, however, 79 on offense, 89th on defense. Strength of schedule only at 46. Kansas has been a bit up and down, like I talked about. They lost last week to K-State, but that was with their 3rd-string quarterback, Mike. I mean, they gave it a go. Jason Bean more than likely will be back this week. And we know they got Devin Neal, who's had 1,100 yards rushing this year and 13 TDs. Last week, Cincinnati, Emory Jones went 14-24, 166, ran for 44. Mike, I'm going to call a Gator Dave lock and look for Kansas to continue to pound this poor Cincinnati team and cover those 6 points. What say you?
I'm going to go with you with the Jayhawks minus the 6 points. I just think they're going to be too much on offense, too much on defense. I think Cincinnati will give them kind of a little bit of a scare in the first quarter, compete a little bit, but I think ultimately Kansas is going to be able to pull away in that one and be able to cover that 6. So I'm with you here, Dave.
All right. Awesome. Let's stay in. No, we're not going. We're leaving the Big 12. We're going to the Big 10. You know, that exciting,
Unfortunately.
that exciting ass league that I just love. So we're going Iowa at Nebraska. Nebraska's getting 1 point. The over/under is 27. Remember that one. Iowa's 8-2, 5-3-1 against the spread. Nebraska's 5-5, 4-6 against the spread. Iowa's won 4 of the last 5 games. And their only loss to Minnesota. So looking quite well to win that Big Ten West. Nebraska, let's see. They have, in the last 3 games, point totals not looking too good in the last 3 games, and lost those. Iowa State ranked 121 on offense. Nebraska's 118. So that kind of gives you an idea. There's not going to be a lot of offense in this game. However, if we look at defenses, we know Iowa's 3rd. Nebraska's not bad at 19th in terms of where they are at this point. This one, it's just there's no way I'm even turning this one on because the offenses are so horrendous. I did the math on this one, Mike, and I'm going to continue to ride the under on any game that Iowa plays. So give me the under 27 points. Could be close this week, but I'm going to take the under 27.
Yeah, this game could be the line at 21, and I would still take the under in this one, Dave. As long as Brian Ferentz is still the OC at Iowa, I will be forever taking the under. So, yeah, we got him this game. We got him in the Big Ten championship, and then we got him in a bowl game. So
yeah, so we're good.
Fade.
We're good for 2 more damn games, right? So,
yep.
Although we can't going the under in the Big Ten, we might need to take that one offline. But all right, so we're both the under 27 on that one. So let's ride to my SEC. And go to Missouri, who beat us last week in the last 2 plays of the game. Oh, my God. So Missouri's favored by 7.5 here. Arkansas, playing at Arkansas. Missouri's 8-2, 7-3 against the spread. Arkansas is only 3-7 and 6-4 against the spread. The Tigers' losses to UGA, right, honey, and to LSU. Both losses right around a TD or so. So they've done quite well. Razorbacks have lost 3 of the last 5. They lost to Auburn, Mississippi State, Bama. Some freaking way they beat us and they beat FIU. All the money right now looks to be on the Tigers. Tigers offense is ranked 31st in the nation. They're 45th on defense. They're banged up though on defense. 22nd on strength of schedule. Arkansas 64th on offense, 65 on defense, 46 strength of schedule. I don't know if you heard the story about the Auburn game, Mike, but Sam Pittman ran a movie for his team in the locker room at halftime against Auburn. It's a great movie. I love it. It's become over the last 10 or 12 years a Christmas classic. But he ran Polar Express in the locker room while his team was in there against Auburn, and then they came out and get their ass just killed. So I don't know what this guy was thinking, smoking, doing, whatever, but that doesn't seem right to me. I did find out today the athletic director has said Pittman is our man, and he ain't going nowhere. So Pittman is back with the team. He is not going to be fired like a lot of people thought he was. So here's my thought. Arkansas is on the downslide. Missouri is ascending. Give me Missouri to cover 7.5 points in this game, Mike. What you think?
I'm on the opposite side. I'm on the guys that love Polar Express, brother. It's all about Christmas. It's Christmas time. Christmas time is here, Gator Dave.
Here you go.
Don't be a Grinch.
I'm sorry.
No, it's just Arkansas has competed. I mean, they've done nothing but compete all year. They had their one bad loss to that Auburn game, or to that Auburn team a couple weeks ago. I think that was more of a fluke, and they kind of did that to themselves. This is senior day for Arkansas. I think that they're able to. Missouri, like you mentioned, is coming off a big, big, big emotional win against Florida, which they really shouldn't have won that game. So I think there's some hangover going into this one, and I think Arkansas, KJ Jefferson, able to punch him in the mouth a little bit. So I'm going to take that 7.5, and I think Arkansas competes here.
All right. Interesting thought process. I can't say I don't disagree. So, all right, let's head out west, Mike.
That way.
To one of our two Pac-12 games. So we're going Arizona minus 11.5 points at Arizona State. So Arizona's 7-3, 8-2 against the spread. Arizona State is 3-7, 5-4, and 1 against the spread. Wildcats have won their last 5 games. Okay. They beat Utah, Colorado, UCLA, Oregon State, and Wazoo. Not too bad. Very, very, very respectable 5 games. We look on the other side of the ball. We got Arizona State. They've lost 3 of 5. They lost to Oregon, tough team. Utah, tough team. Washington, tough team. I mean, that's 3 of the top 3 in the Pac-12. Yeah, yeah. And they did beat UCLA, which is pretty damn impressive. And they lost to the roller coaster Wazoo team. Arizona's 36th on offense, 33 on defense, pretty well balanced. 45th on strength of schedule. Arizona State. I don't know what I want to call it Arkansas because I live so close to that state, I guess.
No, it's because Arkansas State grabbed us by the balls last week and ripped them and destroyed our hopes and dreams by beating Texas State. That's why, Dave. It's
Mike,
just
they did.
It's eating away at your mind right now.
It's stuck in my head. Did they score like 80 or something like that? It was just freaking ridiculous.
It was terrible. Texas State couldn't do anything.
Crazy. All right. So, Arkansas State's offense, 126. Ooh, snoozer. There's only 133 teams. 96 on defense. Just horrendous. So, Arkansas State's had a tough year. But I'm going to talk about Arizona State. They've had a tough year. And it's not happened for them yet. So, they're still on the rebuild. Let's look at Arizona and Big Jed Fish. So did a little research because I was, Mike had talked about last week how Fish was look, Novoski liked the movie with the Arkansas. See, so
Polar Express. See, that's a man. Yeah. That's a man
we
that
all
loves family. That's a family man right there.
Everybody loves that movie. So let's talk about.
No, you don't. Don't act like you do.
I do love that movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
Jared and I watched that movie. Public House and I watched that movie together many times.
That doesn't mean you love it, Dave. Okay?
No, I do love it. I promise I do, and it's kind of one of the new ones.
Public House, get in the chat. Is he?
Hey,
we need fact check. We need fact check.
Who is the narrator? Come on, we're gonna stop the show. Who is the narrator voice of the conductor in that movie? Anybody want to Throwing that
I
one
mean,
out there.
come on, dude. Give me a hard one. You know what I'm saying? Look, Public House says no. You're a liar, dude. You're a liar for the people right
But
now. Never seen
He's
it.
so full of
Oh
it.
my
He's
gosh.
so full of it. I'm not a
Wow.
liar.
Wow. You see what happens? Monday
Yeah.
nights, just the
Come
lies
on.
come out to play, huh?
So who's
It's a
the
Thanksgiving holiday, Thanksgiving week, dude, and you're just out here lying to the people.
we got
It's
Blessed
Tom
Black Ops.
Hanks. It's
And
Tom
Public House
Hanks.
guessing at Morgan Freeman. He's missed it. What do you got, Mike?
Navosky got it. That's a true fan right there. That's a
There
man
it is.
of
Tom
the
Hanks.
Christmas
He's a
people.
man, Navosky. All right. We kind of strayed away, but let's get back to my man Jed Fish.
You stopped the show, and all
I
to
did.
be proven that your fanhood was false, dude. What are we doing?
I mean, he is full of it. Public House is full of it. He knows that we've seen this movie together multiple times. All right. So
Terrible, dude.
Back to Jed Fish. Leave me alone, Mike. All right. Back to Jed Fish. Jed Fish graduated from the University of Florida. Mike, did you know that? He was a graduate assistant at University of Florida for 2 years under Steve Spurrier from 99 to 2000. Then from 2000 to 2020, dude got busy. 8 NFL teams, 5 college teams, and I will say the college teams, Michigan, Miami, and UCLA were 3 of the 5 college teams. Obviously, we got the Gators in there. And now we got Arizona. At Arizona, 2021, Mike, Jed Fish's record was 1-11. 2022, this is so impressive. 2022, 5-7 at Arizona. And by the way, in 2020, Mike, before Jed got there, they didn't win a game. In 2023, right now, they're at 7-3 and got a chance of winning another one, moving on to a bowl, and impressing. So, with all that said, Mike, give me the Fighting Jed Fishes to cover those 11.5 points and whoop up on Arizona State. What do you say?
Can't go anything that you just said. Arizona minus 11.5. That's the play. Go Wildcats.
There we go.
Fish.
All right. Jed Fish. Love that guy.
5 games left. 5 games left on the show. We're under 30 minutes right now for this show, Dave.
Yeah, but we also have our top 10 we're going to do because it's Monday and they haven't announced till tomorrow. So we're going to be ahead of the committee, baby.
That's right. We get to jump the gun.
We are. All right, let's do this. We're going back to the ACC, SEC, and the showdowns in that last week of rivalry week. So here we go. We got Kentucky at the Ville. Louisville getting 7 points. So Kentucky comes in at 6-4, 5-5 against the spread. Louisville is 9-1, and they're going to the ACC championship game against the Seminoles. 6-2-1 against the spread. Kentucky has lost 4 of their last 5 against Bama, Tennessee, Mizzou. Holy moly. Louisville has only lost to Pittsburgh totally, and I don't know what they were thinking that week. I think that was like that brain fart week, right? That was the only only game they've lost this year. Kentucky, 64th on offense, 52 on defense. Louisville, 26 on offense, 17 on defense. Pretty damn good. Their strength of schedule almost identical. So, after the loss last week to South Carolina, Kentucky has proven they are hot garbage. They have regressed. Devin Leary, 56%, 20-9. So, 2 for 1 on the TDs to interceptions. Ray Davis, their stud running back, He's only averaged 52 yards a game in the last 4 games, Mike. Louisville now on the course for that ACC championship game against Florida State. They have never played in a championship game in the ACC. They last played in a Big East championship game in 2012. That's how long it's been since they played in a very important game. Kentucky, they're already in a bowl game. They're snoozing along while the Cardinals can improve their bowl chances and possibly get a New Year's Six bowl if they kick some butt. I'm going to take the ACC in this one, Mike, and give me the Cards to cover 7 points. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Cardinals are just going to be too much. Like you said, both teams are sort of on different trajectories right now in this season. Mark Stoops is going to have some work to do this year in recruiting and hitting that transfer portal, but I think Louisville is, the only thing that could really kind of hiccup with Louisville with this one is if they try to look ahead to that Florida State game, especially knowing that Jordan Travis had that terrible injury. He's, done for the season. They may be kind of licking their chops, looking ahead, thinking that one's, kind of wrapped up, looking forward to it. Like you're saying, they haven't had a meaningful championship game in over 10 years. So that would be the only, concern that I have there with the Cardinals. Or the Cardinal, but I'm with you. I'm going to take Louisville -7 there.
All right, cool. So we need to welcome Carlos to the chat. He's rolling in. First time we've seen him in a minute. Let us move on and move out to where are we going? Louisville, blah blah blah. Texas Tech, Texas. We're going midway, right? We're going to the Big 12. So, Mike gave me this one, and I've been just beating my head on this game. Texas Tech at Texas. Texas getting 12.5 here, and the over-under is 53.5. So, Texas Tech is 5-5. They were supposed to be the darling of the Big 12, but they did not show out. They're 5-5 against the spread. Texas, however, 9-1, but they're only 5-5 against the spread. Tech won their last 3 games against UCF, barely, KU, TCU. They have lost to BYU, which is a cellar dweller, and they lost to Kansas State by 17. All the money right now, Mike, is on Texas Tech. So, So Texas wins over their last 3 weeks by only an average of 5 points, Mike. Only 5 points a game. Quentin Ewers has been back the last 2 games, which is a good thing for those guys. Tech is 58th on offense, 52 on defense, while Texas comes in with the 30th ranked offense and 16th on defense. By the way, Texas have the number 3 strength of schedule. Tech has had a close win in Lubbock last week against a very mediocre UCF team. Only won by 1. The Longhorns did cover the spread in Ames against Iowa State, so kind of getting back. Ewers passed for 281 and 2 TDs against Iowa State. We know Iowa State's got a pretty damn good defense. Freshman running back from the state of Florida, by the way. CJ Baxter ran for 117 yards, so he's putting stuff together. Right now, Texas is by far the best team in the Big 12. And Texas Tech is sitting like mid-range, like 7th out of 14 teams in the Big 12. Mike, I think Texas is going to bow up, show their dominance, and show the committee that they're not playing around, and they're going to cover those 12.5 points here, Mike. Yes, sir.
I'm on the over here, Dave. I'm on the over. I think Texas is going to be able to find success That's a lot of points for a rivalry game. I know Texas has historically kind of owned Texas Tech in this one, but that's a lot of points. That's a lot of points in a rivalry game. So I think ultimately you're right. I think Texas should be able to pull away. Quinn Ewers is back, even though they're missing Brooks, like you said, for the season. You know, C.J. Baxter is still a really good running back. Even as a true freshman, you would not know it. I think Texas Tech will be able to find some success against Texas defense, maybe catch them off guard a little bit. I think Texas should easily be able to put up 30 on them, maybe even 40. So I'm on the over 53 here, Dave.
Mike, I think that's a good call, buddy. Yeah. Yep. I think that's a good call. I'm with you. All right, let's head further west to the O. We're heading to Oregon, Mike. We're going Oregon State at Oregon. Oregon getting 13.5, 62 on the points. So Oregon State comes in at 8-2, 6-4 against the spread. Oregon is 9-1, 7-2-1 against the spread. Oregon State lost 2 of the last 5. Last week they lost to Washington just barely, and they lost to Arizona, which, 2 of the better teams. Washington, Arizona, Oregon are the best 3 teams in the Pac-12. They did have a win over UCLA. So Oregon's only lost at the beginning of the year against Washington by 3 at Washington. Close game, and I honestly think that, Oregon's a better team right now. Oregon State is 18th on offense, 33rd on defense. Oregon has the number 1 offense in the land now. They've kind of taken over for USC and their silliness that's going on there. They also have the 10th best defense in the nation. Now, we look at strength of schedule for these teams. It's not that great. So Oregon State comes in at 57 and Oregon's only 64. So kind of hard to say they're that elite in terms of schedule, but they've played what they've gotten and they've only lost to Washington. Oregon's averaged 44 points in their last 5 games, Mike. It's math time. It's Memphis math time. 44 points in their last 5 games. Oregon State has averaged 33 in their last 4 to 5 games. So we put that together. What do we got? We got 77. So the over-under is 62 here. Oregon out to prove to the committee that they deserve to be in the playoffs. So this is another one of those teams that's kind of like Texas. That they're going to be out there to just kick ass, take names, score points, and tear it up. Oregon State, however, they're out to prove relevance, right? Because they're getting screwed like Wazoo, stuck out there with what's left of the Pac-2, probably going to end up in that Mountain West. This probably good chance it's going to be the last time these 2 teams play for a bit. So they've got something to play for as well. So thus my theory of lots of points up and down the field, and give me that over only 62, Mike, which I think that's a little low. So give me that over 62. What do you think?
I think you're wrong, Gator Dave. I'm on the under. We got a true head-to-head here. I think there's a lot of hoopla going around about this Oregon team right now with Dan Lanning taking interviews and people flying from College Station and Texas A&M to talk to him about potentially moving jobs and moving states. I think that's going to play a factor in this one. I also think Oregon knows what's at stake moving forward. They got to stay healthy. They got the Pac-12 championship on the horizon with Washington more than likely, and that's going to be basically to decide, who's going to go to a playoff spot in that game. They have total chance to get revenge on Washington and sneak that away from them. So I think that could be a factor in this one in a look-ahead situation where they are kind of looking ahead to that Pac-12 championship against Washington. Oregon State coming off that emotional loss last week against Washington, which they really, I mean, they had a shot in. It was a nasty game. Rained the entire time. It was cold. Oregon State just really couldn't get it done. But I think for both of these teams, you know, you mentioned what they've done in the last 4 or 5 games. I think this is the best defense on both sides that both of them have probably faced during that stretch. So I think that's going to be a factor here. So give me the under 62. I think Oregon should find a way to win and still stay on track to potentially get into the playoff. But I think Oregon State's going to give them a little bit of a game here.
Yeah, winning by 14, 13 and a half had you a little scared too there, didn't it, there, Mike?
That's a lot of points. It's a lot of points. It's these rivalry games, man. I'm telling you, anything can happen in rivalry week. It gets spicy.
You never know. You never know. And speaking of rivalries, we have the biggest rivalry just about ever coming up next, Mike. We're going up to the Big Ten, and we're going to look at Ohio State at Michigan, Mike. And right now, Michigan, the cheaters are getting 3.5 points in this game. Both teams come in at 10-0. Ohio State 6-3-1 against the spread. Michigan is 5-4-1. Both teams beat Penn State. Okay, 20-12 and 24-15, almost identical, right? Because that's the only. It's kind of like it's the only gauge you've got against the garbage that's up there in the Big Ten. It's, you know, it's great that they're finally going to get some other good teams coming over from the Pac-12. So Ohio State's offense is ranked 24th. They're second on defense. Michigan 11th on offense, first on defense. But when you look at their strength of schedule, they're middle of the pack. Ohio State's only 51st on strength of schedule, and Michigan is 63rd. And these strength of schedules I'm giving you, Mike, are from a site that I looked at that basically looks at the teams you've played and their ranking, you know. So you play a bunch of crappy teams and your number's not going to be quite as good. So, or it's actually going to be higher. So, and the better the teams that you play, the lower your numbers. So it's kind of an interesting site. It's an interesting site that I've come across that I really like. And I told you I was going to work on some analytics next year, and I think that's going to be one of them. So, but let's keep it moving. Mike, I've seen Michigan play in the last 2 weeks, and it's just ugly. I think they're getting a little bit hungover with all the crap that's gone on at their school with their coach and so on and so forth, and he can't be out there. I'm telling you, it's going to have an effect on those guys. McCarthy has not thrown the ball much in the last 2 games. Okay, he was 12 of 23 for 141 against Maryland, and against Penn State 7 of 8 for 60 yards. I'm not sure you can get away with that against Ohio State, and just trying to run the ball because their defense is pretty good. I think you've got to be more than one-dimensional to have success against Ohio State. The really good news for Ohio State is they got all their offensive weapons back. Travion Henderson back rolling at running back. They got Njigba, Igbuka, and Harrison both rolling at wide receiver. So McCord's got his folks. The last 2 weeks, he's thrown at 72%, looking a little bit better. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, averaging 273 yards against who they played the last couple of weeks. This game's going to come down the wire. Obviously, huge game, low scoring, boring as hell. But give me the Buckeyes, and I'll take those 3.5 points real quick. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I'm with you, Dave. I like the Buckeyes in this situation too. For Ryan Day, Ohio State's head coach, this is the one game, right? The one game other than, I guess, the national championship, that he hasn't been able to have, hasn't been able to get over that Michigan hump. Like you mentioned, no Jim Harbaugh in this game on the sideline for Michigan. At a certain point, I think you're right. At a certain point, it's got to catch up to these guys. The good news for them, they had a situation earlier in the beginning of the year where Jim Harbaugh was suspended. So they had guys on the staff step up in that role. So they've been here before. They kind of have an idea of who does what in this situation. So that kind of plays, to Michigan's hand. I just think this game's more about Ohio State. Ohio State's been one of the top teams all year long. And like I said, this is sort of their speed bump now. They had owned Michigan for a long time, going up until the last 2 years. Jim Harbaugh has kind of had their number now, which may have something to do with some of these allegations. Who knows? I'm sure we'll find out. But I think the Buckeyes get it done. I think they got a real good shot to win this one outright. So 3.5, I think, is a gift. I'm with you. I like Ohio State here.
Yeah, it's funny. I've got a lot of friends on both sides of this one, and I consulted all of them today to kind of get their gut feel, and thus the Buckeye pick. So it at least it influenced me some. I just think those guys getting their studs back on offense is just going to be enough to push them enough to win this game. I mean, and damn, they might win it by 2, 3, whatever. But
it's gonna be a Big Ten game. It's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be low scoring. It's gonna be physical, trench warfare. It's gonna be ugly. Neither team will get to 30 points at all. No shot.
No, and this is one of those damn under games. If you're betting over under, you're probably gonna bet the under in this one. So because it's gonna be ugly. Can be ugly.
Yep,
so
I'm with you. All right, last game, sir. Your game.
Shout out real quick to Charles Coleman's in the chat. Thanks for coming out, Charles.
What's up, Charles? Appreciate you watching, bud.
Last game we got on the slate. We got FSU -6.5 against my Florida Gators. So here's what we got. Very interesting, quite different than what it was a week ago, right? FSU coming in undefeated, 5 and at 10-0. They're only 5-5 against the spread. Florida's 5-5 and only 4-6 against the spread, so the spread's about even there. So right, FSU's biggest win against LSU. No other wins against ranked teams, Mike, that are ranked right now. So, Florida's only decent win against UT, and it's not much anything right now. They lost Saturday against Mizzou. Tough game. I mean, the last 2 games we had a chance and just petered it away. And the Mizzou game, I mean, 4th and 17, and they get a first down and they kick a field goal. It sucked. We got beat by Arkansas. That was just an horrendous, just should not have freaking happened win. Of course, we got beat by the Dogs. Lost to Kentucky, which was stupid as well. Both teams now are playing with their backups. FSU 7th on offense, 12th on defense. Florida's 49th on offense, 85th on defense. Again, we have to battle the backups. FSU's got redshirt junior Tate Rodemaker, who's seen a little bit of action, not much, in his number of years he's been there. I mean, he's been there since like 2019.
Yeah, he's been there a while.
He has
almost as long as Jordan Travis was.
Yeah, like the year after. Gators defense, Mike, is leaking oil, man. And we've got injuries. Both our starting linebackers are done, so we're wide open up the middle. Lots of freshmen and sophomores playing in this game. Look for Florida State to give their quarterback some help running the ball. I think because of our defense, they're going to be able to run the ball up the middle pretty easy. And I think that's what's going to give them some success and allow Rodemaker to throw the ball around if they can run the ball up the middle on us. Gator offense was looking good with Mertz at the helm. We got redshirt freshman Max Brown. He was 4 or 5 for 80 yards in the game last week. But we still, our O-line is struggling. But the good thing about Brown is that he's a mobile quarterback. So hopefully he'll be able to deal with some of that. And that gives us a little extra look that we didn't have before that will cause Florida State to have to, worry about his running ability because the kid can run. So anything's possible. Gators are going to need to run the ball like they have in the last couple of games. Etienne and Johnson have run the ball well. We got, one of the best 1-2 punches in the SEC. If those guys can have success running the ball and Brown can control the game, there's going to be a shot there. But I still think we're going to score points. I think both offenses are going to be able to score points on the defenses. Thus, my thought of giving and taking the over 50 points in this game, Mike. What do you think?
I was actually torn on this game. This was one that I was stuck on for a while. But it wasn't on the over, Dave. It was between your old Gators at +6.5 and the under. I actually like the under in this game just for the fact that of what you mentioned. You got two quarterbacks that have not taken a whole lot of reps at all this year, let alone snaps in a game. You got running games that have been very successful. Gators' defense is susceptible to the run. Florida State's defense, they've been pretty good this year, but there is some weaknesses in the run game if you can get it going, especially up the middle and the outside. So I would lean more towards with the under there. I think that's going to be a lot of play clock running and they're just going to want to have the possession, play it simple, especially for Florida State. They want to get out of there with a win, get to that ACC championship, keep their hopes alive for the playoff. And there's nothing Florida would like more than sitting at 5-6 at home, senior day. They haven't had success against Florida State consistently for a while. Nothing would be better and sweeter, for the Swamp. We talked about it last week, that Cinderella-esque ending for the Gators. It's actually looking kind of possible now. So I am going to go the Gators +6.5 in this one. I think this is one of those that it's a rivalry game. It's going to be close. It opened at 11.5 and it's gone all the way down to 6.5. So there's been a lot of money put in on the Gators to get it down to that number. So give me the Gators here +6.5. I think you guys have a chance to ruin the Noles season entirely, let alone, that injury that happened last week. That it definitely set them back. So
set them back, set us back because we lost Mertz too.
But that's the thing, right? And that's ultimately where I'm at with this. If it was Mertz versus Travis still, I was still leaning towards Florida because Mertz was having a great season. He was consistent.
I tell you, if it was Mertz against Rada whatever, Tate whatever, yeah. I'd have us winning outright because that would make all the difference in the world. The problem is the fact that we don't know, But it is kind of exciting as well. We've had 2 games that, we've been in the fourth quarter. So, God dang it, I hope we're in the fourth quarter again. And you're right, and I hope we can win outright because, obviously we hate the Noles. And, Ian Gleason's not on here so we can slam his ass. But, we'll see. We'll see.
Name dropping.
All right.
All right. Real quick, Dave, before I throw up the recap, I just want to shout out our sponsor one time.
Yes, sir.
If you haven't already, check it out up here. Sponsored by Cover Your Assets at shopcya.com. If you're going into any sporting event, concerts, stadium, high school, football game, anything like that, you got to have a clear plastic bag. This is a piece of paper that's in it. just to show you that it covers it pretty well. When you go through security, they got to check your bag, make sure you're good. When you get through security, you just snap this back on. It covers everything. So while you're walking through the stadium, walking through the concert, everything's covered. Nobody's watching what you got going on. ShopCYA.com. Make sure to check it out. Tons of designs, tons of color styles. They got leather stuff, different occasions, bunch of designs. Check it out. It's good stuff. And real quick also, if you haven't already, we got some new people in the chat tonight. Charles, Carlos, appreciate you guys hopping in. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe on the video. It really helps us out, or on the channel. We'd love to see you guys next week. Let us know if you guys want us to talk any games specifically, or what you feel about the playoffs. We'll talk about the playoffs in a second when I throw the recap up here. Gator Dave, you want to give me your top 10 for playoffs as I throw this recap up?
Yep. I'll do that in just a second. Don't forget, normally we're on Wednesday evenings at 7:30, man. And I'll tell you what, we got 10 people on the line right now. That's pretty dang good for a Monday night sneak preview in here. So thank you so much. So Mike and I are going to do our top 10. We're going to beat the committee, and we're going to do our top 10. So, Mike, we start with 1 or we start with 10? What would you like to do, Mike? We start with 10 and create a anticipation to the top 4. Is that what we should do?
Sure. Go for it.
All right, so I'm going to start at number 10, and I'm going to go number 10 being the Louisville Cardinal.
I agree. That's also 10. 10. Yep.
So we've got them playing Florida State in the ACC championship. At number 9, I've got the team my Gators almost beat at Missouri, because they are the number 3 team in the SEC as I look at it right now.
Good start.
All right, so we're there.
Here's where it gets spicy for me.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it'll get sideways. So right now, I've got number 8 as the Texas Longhorns.
Okay.
And as we move upward, based on where things are, because obviously things will be able to change as we've got these games that are coming left. I've got number 7 at Oregon Ducks. I've got number 6 at Alabama. At number 5, I have a team that has dropped. I have the FSU Seminoles at number 5. I have Washington going to number 4 because they beat Oregon State last week, still undefeated. I have at number 3, Michigan. Number 2, Ohio State. And number 1 in the land, Nebraska, Nevada, Georgia Bulldogs at number 1. So what do you think, Mike? What you got, buddy?
We got a lot in common, actually, believe it or not. So we agreed on those bottom 2 at 9 and 10, Missouri, Louisville. But I told you that's where it gets spicy a little bit for me at 8. That's where I got Florida State. I got Florida State at 8. I just think, record aside, you take Jordan Travis off that team, that's a completely different team. That when I list these next 7 teams, just ask yourself, would Florida State compete/beat that team, right? So I got number 7, I got Alabama. Number 6, I got Texas, and the only real reason I have Alabama under Texas in that situation is just because of that head-to-head. You got to honor the head-to-head. Otherwise, what are we doing in the regular season? You know what I'm saying? Number 5, I got Oregon. I think Oregon deserves to be in the playoff, and I think they are one of the best 4 teams in the country. And I think they're going to beat Washington in that Pac-12 championship rematch and ultimately knock Washington out.
Right. They can win their way to the playoffs.
Yeah. And I think that's what happens. But right now,
7 or you got them at 5.
Exactly. But right now, same thing. Same thing as that Texas-Alabama situation. Washington currently has the head-to-head, so I have them at 4. I have Michigan at 3, just like you. Ohio State 2, Georgia 1. So That's kind of where I'm at right now with it. But I think Oregon, I think ultimately what we're looking at, it's going to be Georgia. If, Alabama were to beat Georgia, Alabama is going to get in. I mean, Texas will get screwed. They're going to put Nick Saban in if Alabama beats Georgia, because also Georgia has looked great this year.
Georgia, you're going to have Alabama and Georgia in. And then it's going to be who's undefeated and who wins their championship game.
Well, it's going to be the winner of this Ohio State Michigan game. Whoever wins that is going to get in. They're going to get one spot.
Right.
Georgia's getting a spot. Whether they lose to Alabama or not, Georgia's in. All right? So you got Big Ten in, you got Georgia in regardless. Now you're looking at Pac-12 champ. Whoever is the Pac-12 champ between Washington and Oregon, they're in. So you got 3 locked up.
Yeah.
That's where it gets a little tricky, because if Alabama loses to Georgia, they're out. It's done.
Yeah.
If Alabama beats Georgia, they're getting into that fucking playoff. I'm telling you.
And Georgia's in too, dude.
Oh yeah, no. Georgia's good. Georgia's good.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere. They might as well be in the playoff. But then
it comes down to that. It comes down to FSU or the Pac-12.
I think I'm telling you, even if FSU were to win out, which is now highly unlikely, right? To beat Florida at the Swamp and then go beat Louisville in the ACC championship. Without Jordan Travis, I mean that's a completely different.
But they're going to be. They're going to get in. They're going to get in, Mike. Oh
man, I don't. It would be hard. It would be extremely hard to keep an undefeated team out. But at the same time,
it's never happened.
At the same time, you got to look at the competitiveness of the field. I mean, obviously next year is not going to be a problem, and this is going to be a great potential example of why they're moving to that 12 team next year. But man, you're telling me,
Tate, baby, they got Tate.
Oh, dude, no, Tate is not it. Tate is not it. And the real problem for them is that 4-star backup Brock Glenn, he's hurt right now. He's hurt. So it's Tate. It is Tate. Like it is 100% on Tate.
If they go undefeated, they're in. If they go undefeated, because it'll be. They might be, but think about what you just said. If they go in, they're at 4. TCU
they are going to get annihilated. No, TCU made it to the national championship. If Georgia plays Florida State in the first round of that playoff, what do you think the score is?
47-14.
See, I got 66-14. I think Georgia is going to beat the piss out of Florida State. I think that's what I said. I think any of those 6 teams that I mentioned above Florida State, where I have them at 7 or 8, they play a Jordan Travis-less Florida State team. They are putting it to them. I'm telling you.
I agree, but they'll get in. Undefeated is going to get them in, unfortunately.
Well, I don't think they're going to be undefeated, so I don't think it's going to matter. To be honest with you, I think it's going to work itself out in that way.
I'm with you there. My gut tells me they're going to lose one of the 2 games. So
yeah,
and I just hope
it's an uphill battle.
It's this weekend, and I hope even further along there, Mike, that it's both games. Then we have nothing to worry about.
All right, let's do this.
Tate can take it to the house. So
you can take it to the bank with Tate. All right, let's do this recap real quick, and then we'll get out of here for this week. Again, we are recording this, obviously, if you're watching right now, we're recording this Monday, so we're recording a couple days early. So if the lines that you see here in this recap are a little different, maybe when you are looking at your lines later in the week, just keep that in mind. This is the latest lines we had when we were doing the show here. So SMU, I'm on 20.5. Dave is on the over in that SMU Navy game. I'm on the over in West Virginia Baylor. Dave likes West Virginia. I'm on Virginia Tech. Dave is on the over in Vatech, Virginia. We're both on Kansas. We're both on the under in Nebraska, Iowa. If you bet the over in that game, I feel you. At some point, it's got to happen, but just don't do it. Don't do it. Just step away. I got Arkansas at home, senior day. Dave likes Missouri. We're both on Arizona against Arizona State. We're both on Louisville against Kentucky. I got Texas Tech against Texas, the over. That's on Friday. Dave likes Texas outright to get the cover there. I'm on the under in Oregon State. Dave is on the over. We're both on the Buckeyes to get it done against the team up north, Michigan. I'm on the Gators to cover against Florida State at home. Like we just mentioned, I think that's a big part of it. And Dave's on the over there. Dave, that is week 13, sir. We got next week's show of the championship games, and then we're gonna have a bowl game show, and that's gonna be a wrap on the season, brother.
Yep. Maybe we split the bowl games up in a couple of shows, to drag this thing out, man. I just hate putting it to bed, man. It's been so much fun in 2013. All these folks.
No, what it is you see this record getting a little closer now with that one game lead for that medal that you got over there. So we'll see if there's a little movement here in week 13 going into bowl season. Maybe you're not going to have that medal anymore after having it the entire year. You could lose it in the final stretch.
I know,
How sweet would it be?
I don't do well in bowl games, Mike. I'm more adapt to reality.
Well, bowl games are hard. I mean, especially now, you got guys that sit out. You got guys that hit the transfer portal beforehand. You got coaches that aren't going to be there anymore.
It's like rolling the dice, Mike. It's like roulette wheel, and
it does get a little dicey. Does get a little dicey. The chaos. You got to thrive in the chaos, Dave.
True. Well, hey, folks, great. We had 8 to 10 folks in the chat tonight on a Monday, which is not our normal night. Remember, Wednesdays.
Made no announcement about it, so it's awesome. Really appreciate everybody that jumped in.
It's really good, and we love you guys and appreciate you guys jumping on. And don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and we appreciate the support and we're loving every minute of it. So thanks for everybody joining in and being on and listening, and go Gators.
Go Canes, baby. Friday, Boston College.
All right, let's do this. Week 13.
Peace.
See you, Mike.